From classrooms once abandoned to funds now allocated, is Jere truly getting the dividends of leadership? This week, we're turning on the spotlight on education in one of the places that matters most. Welcome to Scorecard. I am Sarah Ayuku. Let's get the grades.
Jasiri is where the conversation starts. We amplify diverse voices and challenge narratives.
Bringing societal issues to the fore. This is where everyone has a voice.
That perception that I have your type at home, actually four of your type at home, it starts to shift just because you are like, well, this my type is right here.
Exactly.
We break barriers and bridge generational divides.
So who is going to make Gen Z believe that it is giving?
I love it.
Giving to speak your native language.
Silence is not an option.
We are unconventional, but unique. Brace yourselves.
I had no holes in my ear until I was 14 years old.
And now how many do you have?
I have holes in places you don't want to.
Join us weekdays at 10 a.m. right here on News Central.
Well, this week we focus on Jere local government area in Borno State, once marked by fear, displacement, and the silence of empty classrooms. The sounds of learning are slowly returning. In the heart of Nigeria's northeast, Jere is rising from the rubble of conflict, one school at a time. But rebuilding walls is only part of the journey. What about the children still on the streets, the teachers stretched thin, and the families too displaced to dream of education? Well, reports from the Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC, show that Borno State received a total of 12.6 billion naira in June 2025, with Jere local government area getting 501.6 million naira. But with these funds, are the people truly getting the dividends of leadership, especially in education? Well, to discuss this, we're being joined by Umar Aja. He is an advocate for quality education. I also understand that we have another person, Mohammed Gimba, who is from Connected Development, and we also have Abdallah, who is a citizen of Jere. It's good to have you join us, gentlemen. Well, let me start with you, Mr. Hussaini. You live in Jere, and you have seen its worst years, the displacement, the empty classrooms, the fear that people have experienced. How does it feel now to see children slowly returning to school?
Yes, I have actually seen allocations to Jere local government from January to June. And just as you mentioned, in June, Jere local government received just a little bit over 500 million. And so far from January to June, they have received just over almost close to 3 billion naira. But you asked if what's the money, it's actually reflecting on ground. And I'm going to say, given my experience and not just collecting data, I've worked on several projects that have actually given me opportunity to work with Jere local government, to be more specific, and it's around the area of schools. And although the project is a World Bank project, Agile World Bank project, I would say to certain extent, the money for infrastructures are being utilized to a certain extent. Schools have been, structures have been built in schools, but where there are problems is you find a school with newly renovated or built computer lab, but you don't find enough computers inside. And when you find those computers, you probably aren't going to see a proper or a qualified teacher in this. Whilst having a structure is important to education itself, the quality of education itself, but having the right personnel to teach or to impact knowledge on these young ones, it's quite as important too. So when you go, you also find teachers that are mostly not qualified. My team has interviewed a teacher in one of the schools in Jere primary. It's a primary school in Jere local government, and while they try to speak in English with this teacher, unfortunately, the teacher cannot respond in English. He has to. In fact, his response in Kanuri was to ask them what they have said, that he doesn't understand what they have said. So how can this person or this kind of people be in charge of students in teaching students in classrooms? What knowledge will they actually impact, especially in terms of teaching English to start with, or other subject that really needs to be taught in English? So you can see that the teachers are not qualified. Although I would not generally say it's the fault of the teacher, but the fault of the people that are supposed to take care of this situation, that's the government. In fact, one of my team members, who is also from Jere local government, also told me that most of the teachers that he knew from that local government, his friends, his kin, and he too was once a teacher, at this age or in time, still receive salary lower than 10,000 naira a month.
Well,
and
that's really disturbing. It's really disturbing to hear that a teacher still receives 10,000 naira a month. But let's try and bring in the other gentleman into the conversation. Mr. Aja, Umar, you have been pushing for education reform in Borno State for years. And I just want to ask, is rebuilding classrooms enough? Or do we risk filling them with children but giving them substandard learning, just like Mohammed was saying?
I have worked in Jere local government area across almost most of the schools in Jere local government. As a colleague has just said, in terms of infrastructure, the government has done a lot in building classes and other infrastructures. But this is one basic need in providing a good quality education. Teacher is the backbone of a quality education. But if you look at the body language that the government is doing, it is more emphasizing on the infrastructure than the teachers' training. I quite agree with the government. Last few months or last year, they conducted exams for the primary school teachers. Well, some they have scaled. That means all the teachers that are presently now in the school, based on the analysis of the government or based on the exams conducted by the state government through State University Basic Education, they are the qualified teachers. One. Two, some of them, they are trainable teachers, and they have received training in Burma for the past 3 months or 4 month training. Then if that is the case, then the government needs also invest much in teachers than infrastructures. Because once the teachers are good, definitely the quality education can be obtained. But you go to a school, you have a beautiful structures, well furnished, but when it comes to in terms of the teachers, the qualities of the teachers, I will not say most, but some of these teachers are not qualified to teach. And the teachers' training shouldn't be a one-off. It should be a continuous activities. Maybe at every end of the term, during the break, the teachers should receive training on a different topics, either in a classroom management, either in a pedagogy, either in the based on their subject. I mean, for instance, you find a teacher teaching mathematics. You need to receive apart from receiving training on the pedagogy, on the classroom management and other things. You need to be trained on mathematics itself. Their knowledge should be revived.
So you're
they should be having training on their disciplines.
So you're saying that teachers, getting quality teachers is actually a challenge here, even though we have good structures for learning for children. Mr. Mohammed, let me bring you back into the conversation. We know that the government, has tried to step up in building certain structures in different local governments, particularly with our focus on Jere local government. But the question I want to ask you is, I know earlier you were talking about the fact that it was under a particular project. And I just want you to continue with the line of thought, which is that are you seeing the local governments leading this project? So are they leaving most of the work to NGOs or state level agencies to drive this innovation? Or is it, do you understand what I'm saying? Is it more of a local government initiative than a state government initiative or an NGO-led initiative?
No, I think it's kind of a bit of both. I wouldn't say it's entirely state government. Yeah, the state government has a structure and they're going on with theirs, but they also get some help from NGOs and other private sectors too. So I will not really put it to the state government, but for the project that I worked on, it was, as I said earlier, World Bank initiative, and ours was not even to work on the project. Ours was just to go and monitor what is happening on ground. The money is being utilized for what it's meant for. So basically, and from what we saw, yes, just as Abdullah said earlier, yes, the money is being utilized in terms of structure itself, in terms of building, in terms of all some of the structures. Yes, it's ongoing. But when it comes to the problem, it's the personnel, the teachers in this case. That is the problem in terms of how they try to improve quality education in the states.
Still with you, Mohammed, from your accountability standpoint, what reforms would you suggest, for the government going forward?
I think one of the reforms might be to bring in ordinary citizens as people of around the community, from the youth and old, just have a structure from the communities who can be able to monitor all these things that are going on, create like a community structure that always takes what's happening on ground, takes feedback to the government to report as to what is happening, if the structure or the plans of getting good education in this community is quite working or not. Because the ordinary person actually knows, but most of them don't feel they should, or the only thing they can do about it is probably go on social media or maybe use it as a chamber discussion. But let's have a structure. When things are not going right, we can put together those complaints, take it to the community heads, who will take it above so things can be corrected in those communities. That's one way, and also maybe the work of other NGOs, but then that's not from the government, but the work of other NGOs. And one of the things I think it's happening that might be an issue, it's the clamping down on civil activities in most of these states. And I think I've had one or two things from Borno State too, but hopefully it's not true. So these kind of things can, if they are not doing it and they see this organization, NGOs and community structures as partners to move development, I think those are the things that they need at the moment.
Yeah, I'd like us to take a break now so that we can actually take our audience to Jere. When we return, News Central, we'll take you to Jere local government to see what's working, what's missing, and what it will take to put every child back in the classroom. Stay with us.
How do we save this country?
You move from the APC to the PDP.
Therefore, listen, I'm still paying teachers in Ondo State. If Olabode just should be expelled from the party.
It's an existential imbecility, utter nonsense.
Join me, Dapo Adeboye, on Politics HQ, where Nigeria's political heartbeat is felt. Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. on News Central.
One hotspot of displacement and despair Jere local government in Borno state is now sowing seeds of recovery, not just on its farmland, but in the minds of its children. From rice paddies to classrooms, this agrarian region in northeast Nigeria is rewriting its story one school at a time. Years of conflict have torn through the heart of Jere, displacing families, disrupting livelihoods, and closing the doors of many schools. Today, the echoes of that violence remain, but now it seems the will to rebuild is stronger. At Shehu Sandakarimi Primary and Junior Secondary School, nestled in Jere, the return to learning feels like the breath of new life, especially for children who have known more war than words.
We have 68 schools in Jere, and before the reforms, the carry capacity, that means the ratio at which the teacher-student ratio is not tiled with the number of the pupils, but His Excellency has make a approval to recruit teachers. If you can recall, the Borno State government have employed over 4,000 teachers that are qualified to teach effectively at the primary schools level and the senior secondary schools. We have a total number of 1,000 teachers that are now qualified to teach at the primary level, and they have done their best to see that the learning outcomes have been in a greater position. The teachers people ratio is okay. We don't have an issue. Before the employment there is issue, but after the employment there is no issue.
Leading the transformation of education in this area is Jere's first elected female chairperson, Inna Galadima, who is making basic education a central pillar of recovery.
I'll still have to sit with all of you, the diplomats and ones, to talk about how to discuss and come up with a strategic plan on how we can get our children off the streets into the schools. So we need to do that as soon as possible. And I also plead with all our stakeholders to help us in this strike. Help us to talk to our communities as well, because you are leaders as well in the communities. You help us talk to them so that we can come together as one to achieve our goal.
But challenges persist. According to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, over 700,000 children in Borno remain out of school. In Jere, the conflict has pushed many families to prioritize survival over schooling.
Yara na bakwai. Duka suna nan, amma gaskiya babu mai makaranta daga cikinsu. Da suna makaranta da abin ya ci tudu ya ci rahi na fitar da su makaranta, yanzu haka zuwa an ji kaɗan za su da wurin fiya ta nema mana na abinci.
Sometimes during rainy season, we do have this type of problem. And the problem is, most of them are from the village, they are farmers, and when it is rainy season, they do carry their children away. And for a villager, when you tell him the school is more important than the farm he is there to look for his food, we find it difficult. So, but we used to understand ourselves that when they are having less to do, please let the children come to school. Because when you say they must come, maybe you are going to miss them completely.
To boost learning outcomes, UNICEF has launched targeted interventions across Jere, working with local authorities to build systems of support.
Improving learning outcomes is critical for Nigeria. We need our children to be able to come to school, to be able to learn and progress in life. And UNICEF is happy to support with the state government on this program.
In Jere, a chair and a chalk now symbolize modern learning. They symbolize dignity, resilience, and a pathway to possibility. With continued support and transparent leadership, this local government could become the example, not the exception, in the fight to bring every Nigerian child back to the classroom.
We are still watching Scorecard, and our focus this week is Jere local government, and we're taking a look at the education sector. And we have two gentlemen who has been with me from the beginning of the program, Umar Aja, who is an advocate for quality education, and I also have Mohammed Gimba, who is a representative from Connected Development. It's good to have you stay with us, gentlemen. I would just want to drive the conversations around what local governments should be representing. I'm going to start with you, Mohammed, while we wrap this up very quickly. We've seen many residents tell us that they don't even know the funds that come in or what they are meant to be spent on as it pertains to the local government administration and governance. But what role is transparency portals or citizen engagement, making to ensure people can see and question these monies that are being spent on development at the grassroots?
A lot of people, just as you said, don't know about the FAC allocation, the federal allocation to states. There's for states separately, then there's for local government itself. So each local government has its own allocation, which we mentioned earlier, beginning of the program, that from January to June, you can find it online. You can find the records online for all states and local government, what has been dispersed. And one of the things that CODE decided to do was to start a program called Facts About Facts. So we post weekly on Thursdays on FAC allocation to we pick specific states based on which state is on spotlight, and then we post their FAC allocations. That's the breakdown of the allocations on social media and the rest. So now, what is it meant for? The local government has a set of things that it handles. For example, it has most of these things that you'd see, like there are schools, let me say things like a primary basic education. It's usually handled by local government in some states, including the junior secondary school, which is also handled by local government. Local government is in charge of making sure these things are working, paying payments of teachers, having structures in place. Also, we talk about the basic needs, such as some of the basic needs, such as things like water, that is water and sanitation. So the local government is in charge that communities in the local government are getting some amount of water to a certain extent. So this is when
hopefully people can really track some of these funds, because a lot of billions and millions of naira are going down to the local administration. Very quickly, let me bring you in, Umar, and I just want you to, in 30 to 40 seconds, tell us what policy interventions you would like to see from the local to the state level in terms of education.
With this huge amount of money, as this is the first time I'm hearing that this huge amount of money is allocated to the local government. And if this money can be utilized properly, I think can revive the education system in Jere local government beyond our expectation.
I want to say thank you, gentlemen, for your time on Scorecard. In Jere, every chalkboard restored and every child back in class is a victory over conflict. The task ahead is clear: turning funds into futures and promises into opportunities for the next generation. And we keep holding leaders accountable for grassroots development. I am Sarah Ayeku. See you next week.